Hello and welcome to Ginger Welsh Allotments. I am Bethan and I'm over on my plot today because I've got two things I really have to do, and one is harvesting my potatoes and the other is taking out my tomatoes as they've now got blight down the bottom. So I wanted to get my potatoes out before they got blight and get my tomatoes away before the blight just manifests and sort of malingers around the place. For anyone who is new to my channel, I grow my potatoes in pots or in containers. So I've just unearthed a couple of the pots. There's the empty pot. This variety is Sarpo Mira and it's still green, but they're jumping out of the soil, if you can see that. So I'm guessing they're ready because, as you can see, they're very big, which is a good thing. And I'm just putting them in that box there. I've got Sarpo Mira, which were over there with my Cara, which I've already harvested. I've just got that one pot left now to harvest the Sarpo Mira. And my other Maris Pipers are over there in those bags. So I've got them to unearth as well today. And once I've unearthed them, I'm going to leave them in these crates and leave them in the sun, which I have with my Cara over there. I thought I might as well walk around the plot and show you what it's looking like at the moment. I do need to cut down my blackberries from this year and fix that stand a bit because it does lean, it has a tendency to lean over, so that's one of my jobs to do this autumn. My asparagus was cut down by my husband, who actually trimmed it, so I don't know if it's going to come back, but I weeded along here and I might actually move the asparagus from here because I think this line here, it's too close to my blackberries and the rhubarb, which all have deep roots, and the asparagus has deep roots. So I'm not sure if it's in the best place grow-wise where it is. So I might move it. It depends if the beds are ready by the spring. And this is the area where I've been slowly digging away. I put the cardboard down over the bits that I have dug down there. And these are the pots that I had my potatoes in, so I'm waiting to put some more no-dig beds along here, and then I can mix the soil from these pots in with some of my compost and well-rotted manure to create some more raised beds. Hopefully I'll get this area dug over soon. Because I can't put my beds in there until I've dug this area here, because I'm putting the black fabric down in between to try and keep the weeds suppressed. So I at least need to dig out a line here before I can put the beds in. So hopefully that'll be something I'll do soon, but I did do my back in, dig in for the no-dig method the other day, so I'm not sure how I'll progress with that. And I've also planted some things. This is October, we're about 2/3 of the way through October and it's a beautifully sunny day. So I started these off in the greenhouse about a month ago, and I've got 2 rows of turnips in the front and then a row and a half of radish and some spring onion, and hopefully they'll all grow. And it's next to my celeriac, which is coming along. It's bulbing up a bit now. And the other, well, I've planted a couple of things. In here is a line of spinach, 3 spinach plants, and the rest is Swiss chard. And then in the rest of the bed I'm going to plant my broad beans for next year. Another job I'm hoping to do today is harvest those green beans in the front and harvest more of my red peppers. I'm beginning to harvest them when they're just beginning to turn, and then leave them in my windowsill to come to full ripeness, because I think it's getting a bit too cold for them now, and I think that's the best thing to do. And behind there are my pumpkins, so I'm just leaving them as well, just really until I figure out how many I'm keeping and where I can give them away to people. This patch next to the courgettes is where I'm going to put my onions and garlic to overwinter, and I did weed it, but what has come up are nasturtiums that have self-seeded themselves. So I don't really want to get rid of the nasturtiums. They're such a good plant, but I don't think the onions will appreciate the competition, so I think they might have to come out. And if it was in the spring, I would plant them somewhere else, but I think they might just have to go into the compost heap for the time being. This is the area where the Turk's turban and butternut squash was, which I need to do a thorough weed and hopefully put down some well-rotted manure and then cover it over for the winter. And here are my tomatoes, which look lovely from afar, but when you get up close, they began to get blight, so that's not great, which is a shame because there's quite a lot of them now that have turned red, and some of them down here I might be able to rescue and ripen at home, because this plant is looking quite good. So I'll go through them anyway and see, but if I go close to this one, you can see that it's got patches of darkness on it, and that one. So some of the plants are doing well, but some of them have got blight. So I'm going to sort them all out today anyway and get rid of the tomato plants. And the brassicas are doing well. I got some sprouts in here. I've also got some more sprouts further down the plot. My kale is I just can't keep up with the kale. It's just a bit too vigorous, which is a good thing. That is purple sprouting broccoli, hopefully for next spring. And in here I've planted 5 rab broccoli, which is kind of like purple sprouting broccoli, but it comes to fruition in 60 days apparently. So it's probably been in my greenhouse for about 3 to 4 weeks. So I've now put it in the ground, and it has grown since I've put it in the ground. And I wasn't very impressed the first couple of times I grew it, because I felt that it went to seed really quickly. But I read in a magazine you're actually meant to harvest the leaves, the stem and the florets as soon as you see a floret come. So I'm going to give that a go this year, and hopefully it'll work better, and we'll have a bit of broccoli in November, beginning of December time. And the runner beans are now doing tremendously well. I've got loads coming on here now because we've had such a lovely late autumn, and I think I'll be able to harvest a fair few. I mean, this one I've left too long, but I should be able to harvest a fair few off there. And what I don't manage to eat in the week, I can freeze. And I'm going to crack on with harvesting the rest of my potatoes now, and I'll show you what I've got when I've finished. Here is my final potato harvest. The one on the left is the Cara, which was meant to be a sort of jacket potato as far as I understood, but they are very small for jacket potatoes, but I'm sure they'll make lovely roasted potatoes. And that quantity is from 4 seed potatoes, so I think that's fairly good for 4 seed potatoes. The next box along is the Sarpo Mira, and I've got a decent size from some of them. So that would make a good potato, a jacket potato. And finally the Maris Piper, and I think in regards to the other two, this was from 10 seed potatoes. The Sarpo Mira was from 8 seed potatoes, and this is from 10 seed potatoes. And I think there's probably less in there than there was the Sarpo Mira. So I'm not sure if I'll grow Maris Piper next year. I'm coming to the conclusion that we don't eat as many potatoes as I thought we did, and I think we'll struggle to get through all these potatoes. But I'll give some to my mum the next time I see her, and maybe some to neighbours. I'd rather them get eaten than go off, really. So I'm going to go home for my lunch now, and when I come back I'll hopefully remember to bring my black bags so I can bag up those tomatoes at the top, and I shall crack on with doing them after lunch. So I'll catch you in a bit. I was away slightly longer than I thought, but I have made it back over here. But I do now need to rush to get this job done, as it is 5:20, and although it's still bright, the light is dropping and the sun will be going down quite soon. So I'm going to get on and do these tomatoes now, and hopefully it won't take me too long. Well, I managed to get it all done just in time. I'll show you now. Here's where the tomatoes were, and here's where the canes are, which I'm either going to take home or bring some disinfectant over. But I would like to use them again because I only bought them this year. So I'm definitely going to disinfect them. And I think I might use them down by my raspberries, where the raspberries are flopping over everywhere. I need to make more of a permanent structure there to hold the raspberries up. And there are 3 bags of the blighted produce to go home into my bin. So I'm pleased to have got that done. I would have liked to have got the weeding here done as well, just because when I take something out, I like to leave the ground ready to either mulch or reuse rather than in this state. But I am now running out of time. I've enjoyed my day over here. I managed to get my potatoes harvested and my tomatoes out. Oh, and I also got my courgette plants taken out, which was a bit sad because the courgette plants, bless them, they just carry on. They just see to themselves. You don't have to do much with them, and they give you an awful lot of produce throughout the season. So I was a bit sad to say bye-bye to them, but they've gone now, so I have to plant some more next year. I've got my squashes and pumpkins to work my way through now. So all I can say about that and my work today is lovely job.